October is generally a pretty bullish month. However, it has just started with a pretty significant dip. In this video, we're going to talk about these 3 coins that you should be buying in this market dip and why you should be buying them. To start off with, the first coin we're going to talk about is Solana. This is probably a pretty obvious pick, but I think it is one that does go unnoticed a little bit. Everyone talks about Bitcoin, Ethereum as the main coins to hold, but I think Solana is definitely one that has jumped very high at the moment and definitely has getting a lot more attention. And the strength that it's held the past few months is really important. And this is why it's one of the coins that I definitely think people should be purchasing in this little dip that we've seen. I've got 3 coins in this video. This is the first one. We're going to go through 2 other coins, so stay tuned for those. As for Solana, you can see one of the most important things that I love about Solana is that it has not had a massive correction like most altcoins have, right? It's gone down about 40% from its top here at $206. But you have to remember, Solana has done a massive pump all the way back here from about $10. If you're looking around here around $20, it's up 800%. It's done a massive move without a significant correction. So eventually it has to correct. And the beauty of it is most altcoins fell into a falling wedge, but this is just in a descending triangle, which is a bearish pattern, but it's attempted to break out twice and has failed. I think this will eventually break out. Obviously the crash today has been caused by geopolitical events, and that's something that you can never obviously control for at all. It's something to always take note of, I guess, because if some serious events do occur, then it will affect the markets. But we usually bounce back quite quickly after this once it all sort of dies down. So Solana needs to break out of here, get a bounce, and then sort of will shoot higher. I mean, we're not even at all-time high price. We never actually got there. The all-time high is around $258. But Solana is definitely just having a lot of attention. I think this is definitely a good pick for everyone to pick up. My second pick would definitely be Injective. So this is one that was in a descending channel, which I spoke about. Most altcoins went into a falling wedge. This one went into a descending channel. And this one did see a pretty big correction, like a lot of altcoins did from its high. It was about 70%. Again, it did pump very, very high from its low, down here about $1.20 up to $52. So this coin did a massive pump, just like Solana did. It hasn't shown as much strength as Solana, but it did a massive, massive move. And when that happens, and there's no real major corrections or accumulation phases, that obviously is going to eventually lead into one of these. As for the real short term, right, like we did break out here, and then we've sort of come back in here, which is not ideal. You can always sort of, depends where you draw your line. Like you can always draw your lines at different places. I try not to move mine, obviously, because then you don't really want to move them that much, but we're right on the line right now. It'd be interesting. We might come back in and then go back up like Solana we just saw, or we could just get a bounce here and attempt to break out again. So this coin's definitely shown some pretty good strength in the last week as well. It's went up about 49%. That's 50% in like 25 days. Just recently, it's a pretty good move, something to watch. There's also a bit of a W pattern as well. As I said, we did break down, but because of the recent worldwide events, that sort of isn't something you can cater for at all. So this is definitely a coin to watch. I think Injective can definitely hit previous all-time highs. And so one thing I look for most importantly with your coins is I like to look at how has this coin performed early in the bull market, because I think that'll be massive indicators of how it'll perform later. Obviously, Injective has performed very well, right? It was at $1.20 and did a 3,900% increase, which is just like, that's obviously massive. And as I said, this is one of the things that I look at is what coins have done well and what sectors have done well, and then how that should give an indication of how they're going to perform later. If you're looking at coins that just didn't perform well early in the year, early in the bull run, I don't think it has the same likelihood of it performing well later. It depends when the coin has come out, of course, but that's just something that I look for. I would say AI, gaming, and meme coins are probably the biggest sectors of different coins that I think will do well. And then Injective and Solana Solana is very high cap coin. Injective is high cap as well, relatively. So that's definitely one coin I'm looking at. Another coin which jumps into the AI sector is FET. Now, this coin is something that I've held for a long, long time and has performed very well, did perform very well early in the year, moving from 20 cents up to $3.40, and it did it quite quick. Like, it was a bit of a small move till it broke its all-time high, and then once it broke its all-time high, it was off to the races right here. So you can see it was just done like a 6x very rapidly, and as we said, everything needs to come in correct, and we've talked about it before on the channel, how obviously Bitcoin went in that big accumulation phase / downtrend for quite around 200 days, which if you've been looking at the market, you'd be aware of. And FET did what most sort of altcoins do, especially those altcoins that went pretty nuts at the start of the run. They went and corrected 78%, a pretty significant correction, but it's a pretty beautiful chart if you actually look at this properly. Descending channel, we had a fake out here, didn't really work. And then a fake out, a breakout here. And then we did confirm the breakout, which is pretty much what you want. You want to break out, then come down, test that previous resistance line. And then if it comes to support, then you go higher. And so FET is definitely a coin that I'm going to be looking at. As I said, it's done well previously in the bull market cycle. I think it's going to do well later in the bull market cycle. We're in October, aka Uptober, even though we had a crash on day one. That's all right. I think Q4 is very bullish. The sentiment right now is pretty bullish. A lot of people are very bullish about the whole market. And one thing to look at is Bitcoin dominance, which is at like 57%, 58%. And I think most people are hanging out for that Bitcoin dominance to finally fall and like altcoins to start rallying. Like, some altcoins have done really well, but you've had to really pick the right coins. Like Injective did well, FET, Solana, but a lot of other altcoins did not outperform Bitcoin. And that Bitcoin dominance just has kept rising for about a year. It's just continuously risen. So we are just waiting for the altcoin season to start. And so this is why I'm personally packing my bags with some of these altcoins. And yeah, hopefully they start to take off and we start to see a really good Q4, which historically, it's important to look at like the objective, objective outlook on things. And Q4 is historically a really good 3 months for crypto, and especially being in not only election year, but coming off the halving as well. Two pretty bullish catalysts. And depending on who gets elected, I might make a video on sort of the implications on who gets elected, but it seems either way it will be bullish. And then also being the halving, right? A lot of people talk about how like 6 months later or 9 months later is where the market sort of takes off. And then once it does, or if it does, hopefully some money starts to get rotated into the market and then also rotated from Bitcoin into altcoins. And hopefully it's these altcoins, which, as I said, I've given my reasons why. I think these sectors are pretty important. Solana, Injective are just really two strong coins. FET, the AI sector, really taken off. I did a video recently on like Prime, which is like an AI gaming coin. I think that coin's going to go on and do really good things. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do appreciate all your feedback. If you think these coins are good, what coins are you looking at? Are you buying this dip? Do you think we're going lower? Bitcoin's sitting at 61K at the moment. Depending on what happens, geopolitically, it will influence the price. But let me know what you guys are doing and what coins you're bullish on moving forward. And yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Thanks, guys.